Dragon fruit is one of the rarest and most powerful mythical fruits inspired by Kaido's power from the anime One Piece. It is considered one of the most expensive fruits in the game. Today we will talk about 5 advantages and disadvantages of the dragon fruit. First, the rarity of the dragon fruit. The dragon fruit is classified as a mythical fruit, and its price before the update was 3.5 million belly. If you want to calculate it in Robux, it was 2,600. After the update and after the development of the dragon fruit, the dragon turned into 10 million belly, and the chance of appearing in the game is very rare. And that was everything about the rarity of the dragon fruit. Secondly, the ability. The dragon fruit. When you transform into a dragon, you will gain 1. Large size and extraordinary strength. 2. Resistance to attacks. 3. The ability to fly without restrictions. 4th and finally, destructive fire attacks. And of course, the special attacks of the dragon fruit. 5, or if you prefer 4, with the flight. Thirdly, the advantages and disadvantages of the dragon fruit. And we will talk about 4 advantages and 4 disadvantages. And the first advantage is very high damage, which makes it perfect for PvP and battles against... We made it! Dear and that's you for your part C. Firstly, very high damage, which makes it perfect for PvP and battles against bosses. Secondly, it will grant you the ability to transform into a giant dragon. Second, 3. Thirdly, good resistance to damage, which will make the user more powerful during combat. 4th and finally, you can use it to fly at high speed. Now that we've finished with the advantages, we'll move on to the disadvantages. The first drawback of the dragon fruit requires significant mastery because the attacks need high precision and accuracy. Secondly, it requires a large amount of energy. Thirdly, it's one of the most expensive fruits in the game and difficult to find. Fourthly and finally, the large size of the dragon will make the player an easy target in battles. Thus, we've discussed the advantages and disadvantages of our fruit. The dragon. We will move on to 4th, how to get the dragon fruit. First, from Blox Fruits de la, you can buy it from the store if it's available, but unfortunately, it's very hard to find. 2. Random fruit dealer. You can try from the random fruit system, which is the owner of Nestless, but the chance of getting it is just as hard as the Blox Fruit dealer. Thirdly, Mirage Island. In some cases, you might find the fruit on this island. Unfortunately, both this area and the cellar where you might find the dragon fruit are very rare. 4th, trading with players. You can obtain it by exchanging strong fruits with other players. 5th and finally, is the dragon fruit worth buying? If you're looking for a very strong fruit in combat, especially against players in PvP or bosses, then the dragon fruit is one of the best options due to its rarity and high price. Fruits you can get instead of the dragon fruit. Where from? The strong alternative fruits. First, the leopard fruit or the cheetah fruit. And one of its features is that it is strong in speed and damage. 2. Mochi fruits, which are excellent in PvP and ideal for balance. Finally, the venom fruit will grant you continuous damage and poisonous effects. In conclusion, the dragon fruit is one of the strongest legendary fruits in Blue Key. The Blox fruit has destructive fire abilities and the ability to transform into a dragon, making it ideal for PvP and large battles. But it is rare and expensive, as it requires high skill to use effectively in combat. In the end, are you thinking about getting it? In the beginning, we talked about the features and drawbacks of the dragon fruit. And now, we will enter the stages of developing the dragon fruit. The history of the dragon fruit. Initially, the dragon fruit was considered very rare and unique, and its power was immense, but it did not have all the abilities it possesses today. Its main ability relied primarily on causing significant damage using a massive dragon that releases Neno. Yes, players loved the dragon fruit for its ease of use in battles, but with subsequent updates and over time, more abilities and improvements were added to this fruit, such as the player's ability to transform into a dragon form and use destructive attacks. The updates began to give players additional skills, like the ability to fly, and use wider ranging, more destructive attacks. Update number 13. In update number 13, they added the current dragon form. And in update 13, the dragon fruit received its biggest modification. This update added the complete dragon form, allowing players to transform into a fully massive dragon and use entirely new skills, including range attacks and area control. This transformation now requires skill in timing and strategy. It was very deadly compared to the other fruits. Future updates. With the following updates, the dragon fruit became more balanced. Some adjustments were made to the strength of attacks and their usage cost, as well as adding some skills that make it more effective in the advanced stages of the game. Now we are going to talk about a very important point. The dragon fruit has become one of the most sought after fruits by players because it offers a mix of strength and control in battles. It is a fruit that requires a lot of training to be fully utilized. We talked about the history of the dragon fruit, and we discussed its disadvantages and advantages. We narrated stories that happened with Blockstar players using the dragon fruit. There was a famous player in the Blockstar game who was always boasting about his strength in using the dragon fruit, and one day he decided to confront another player, and the difference in level between them was large. But what happened was a surprise. The stronger player used the ultimate dragon attack with full force. So and it was burning everything in front of it. But the opponent had a strange idea. Instead of running away or facing the attack, he decided to use a counter-attack. At that moment, all the attacks fell to the ground and destroyed the place completely. The battle was so intense that the entire area split, and everyone on the server kept talking about this battle for a long time. The second story. One time, there was a new player who decided to Once upon a time, there was a new player who decided to use the dragon fruit for the first time. He was very excited because he saw the dragon's powerful abilities and was sure he would win any battle. But when he decided to face a professional player, and he was the doctor, But when he decided to face a professional player and thought he could easily defeat him, he discovered that his fruit required intense training to control the attacks. He attacked the opponent using a dragon attack, but the result was unexpected. The attack went completely elsewhere, and instead of winning, the opponent took advantage of the opportunity and delivered a knockout blow. The third story. In a large server, there was a group of players challenging a strong opponent who had the dragon fruit. The battle was so intense that flying dragons crossed the sky and the sounds were like an earthquake. But one of the players was late in using his special ability, and when he finally decided to transform into the dragon form, he discovered he wasn't completely ready. Instead of flying directly to attack, he fell to the ground in a silly way. The players who were against them couldn't resist and found themselves in a very tough situation. But in the end, they played cautiously and won with a bit of luck. The fourth and final story. One day there was a player out at sea who was a user of the dragon fruit. He decided to attack a group of weak pirates, but at the moment he was launching the dragon attack. The dragon entered when a second player with the same fruit appeared instead of achieving victory. They ended up destroying their ships and the entire sea around them, to the point that some players laughed at the chaos. But the surprise was when the big dragon accidentally hit another sea area, which started an unexpected battle with other players. Of course, these stories are my creation and didn't happen in reality. So tell me what you think of the dragon fruit, and that's it. Goodbye!